We're off now to mountainous Greece, an adventure in itself. And it's a huge pleasure to introduce one of Interpret Europe's outstanding actors and our leader, coordinator, inspirer, planner of Interpret Europe's training program. And of course, I'm talking about Valya Stergioti. Valya is going to tell us how interpretive stories are reviving tourism in a stunning mountain landscape. And after that, we will go on to an open door session. But in the immediate time now, Valya, the stage is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Michael, very much for this introduction. I'm blushing with all these kind words that you shared about me. And I will share my screen now to start my presentation. So let me know if this works, okay? Yes?
Yes, you're working fine.
Good.
Thank you.
So I'm going to tell you a story. Once upon a time, in June 2021, while the world was still trying to recover from a pandemic, two Greek interpretive guides, Sophia and Penelope, organized two walks and invited people to join them in a journey through nature, but also through time, to introduce people into an agricultural, intangible heritage that tends to be forgotten. In other words, that was our project called Interpretive Stories. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to share with you a few words about this project. I'm going to take you behind the scenes to see how we worked in order to prepare this project and how it went. And finally, I'm here to discuss why should we use heritage interpretation as a tool for developing sustainable tourism in our regions. Let's start with the project. The idea for these two walks came by two members or a couple of members of Interpret Europe in Greece. And we communicated this idea to the Mediterranean Center of Environment, which is an environmental NGO here in Greece. And actually, it is the NGO that brought interpretive training to our country, Greece. And we collaborated, as I said, with Sophia and Penelope, who are both certified interpretive guides. And we were very lucky to have the support, financial, but much more than that, of the Directorate of Modern Culture from the Ministry of Culture. These are the heroes of this project, Penelope and Sophia, in action, as you can see. So Interpretive Stories took place in Greece, which is this country, in case you haven't had the pleasure or the experience of visiting it yet. And more precisely, took place in these two villages. You see here, it's Western Greece, Northwestern, and Central Greece, Central Southern Greece in Peloponnese. So this one is called Kipi, which means gardens, and the other one is Dimitsana. You can see that both of them are mountain villages, right? And actually they are these villages with a small, relatively small population throughout the year, but they are already quite famous and they attract visitors from around the world, but also from Greece. So domestic and international tourism is an important component of their income for the people who live in these villages. I should also say that Dimitsana is very famous. The branding of Dimitsana is based very much on the role that it played during the Greek Revolution 200 years ago against the Ottoman Empire. So what did you want to achieve with this project? We wanted to show people what heritage interpretation is. If you are an interpreter and you have tried to explain to people what this thing called heritage interpretation is, you probably have discovered that it's pretty hard to do it just by words. Even the term interpretation is often used in different languages, meaning something else, probably in your language as well. So we wanted to show in practice what this thing is. We also wanted to explain to people it is a good time now, it is an opportunity after the pandemic to introduce a different kind of tourism. There are places in Greece where mass tourism that happens mainly during summer times is kind of a problem. Okay, we are not like Venice or Barcelona yet, but there are places that tend to lose the character due to the large number of inflow of tourists. These two villages are not part of this problem. So we consider them to be a good opportunity, a good example where this different kind of tourism could be introduced. We wanted to promote these regions, to make them famous again, and we wanted to provide Greek interpretive guides with a tool that they could use for the future, for their own interpretive walks. The first walk in the Mitsana, where this picture is taken from, was organized and run by Penelope. And she had the idea to talk about intangible heritage, agricultural intangible heritage of this region by using the we and the I, which means the community and the individual. This contrast throughout the years and where led people, where did it lead people centuries ago, and where do we stand today? The second walk by Sophia had a different approach. She wanted to talk about how the circles of life defined our path in life. You see that in both cases, though the heritage we wanted to promote was the villages, the agricultural environment surrounding the village, and also intangible features of this heritage, the title and the way to approach this heritage was not direct. We also wanted to talk about ourselves today, things that matter to us, by looking to this heritage. Who did we invite? We invited decision makers and stakeholders, local people who deal with tourism sector, local authorities, and guides working in that region. So we focused on people who are present, who are there, who are living and working in these villages or in these regions, and who would be able to be inspired by this walk and maybe change something in the future. At the end of each walk, we asked people, the participants, to evaluate their experience, and this is what came back. As you see, quite positive answers. They enjoyed the path. They liked how our guides helped make a friendly atmosphere, friendly way of discussion, but also sharing new perspectives about the heritage of these two regions. We focused on intangible heritage, and also they felt that they learned quite a bit during these walks. We also asked them whether they think that heritage interpretation can help promote sustainable tourism. The response was a positive yes, and quite a lot, as you can see. Not only for the region, but also in Greece. And because they felt that this type of guiding and this type of presenting heritage is not really suitable for really big numbers of tourists, they emphasize that this could be more suitable for some groups, for some types of visitors. As every little or big project that respects itself, we also produced a leaflet. However, this was different because we only produced very few copies of that. These were meant to be a communication with the participants, the people who came to these walks, and it had more like a contact information, etc., etc. However, even in this leaflet, the way we approached the text, the texts themselves were written in an interpretive way to show people that even leaflets can be a little different than the usual filled with information type of leaflets that we usually find in tourist destinations. Finally, our walks were recorded and they were followed by this gentleman here, Mr. Chronis, who recorded every part of it, all the discussions that we had, the phenomena that we presented, etc., etc. Why did we do that? We wanted to produce two very short videos. Imagine the whole walk lasted about 2 hours each, but the video lasts about, each video for each walk lasts about 5 minutes. So in these videos, we have a voiceover, someone explaining the basic principles of heritage interpretation. And at the same time, we have collected small parts of the walk that show how interpretive guides can make these principles come to life. So it's a very good opportunity. We use the walks as a good opportunity to record how personal interpretation can happen. What are the principles and how we implement these principles in real life. Finally, we prepared the site, the website. In this website, we have on the menu, we have some information about the project itself. We have a page which is particularly for heritage interpretation, what heritage interpretation is, what are the principles, etc., etc. And I should say that this is the first and only website in Greece, in Greek, talking about heritage interpretation. This may sound strange to people coming from the States or the UK, etc., where heritage interpretation is something they have been dealing with for a long time. But for us in Greece, it's something very new. So we needed something as a basis, something that we can, somewhere where we could communicate what this thing is and what are the principles. Finally, we developed a map where we put the paths and the interpretive walks that we run during the project, but also we have on the menu a communication button where interpretive guides from all over Greece can contact us and share their interpretive walks. And then we will put their walks on this map and eventually develop a map with interpretive guiding from all over Greece, because we have trained guides, we have interpretive guides in several parts and islands of Greece, but we haven't collected this information yet in one place. What is also very important about this website is that it will be part of the official website of the Ministry of Culture, because as I said, the ministry really supported us since the very beginning and towards the future, hopefully. So let's go behind the scenes. In order to prepare the two walks, the guides, Sophia and Penelope, used the material that we used during the interpretive guide course in Interpret Europe, which comes from Leonardo project some years ago, Heritage. So they were familiar with this because, as I said, they had been trained through this course, and it was very easy to to collaborate through this material. We are talking pandemic, and obviously we had to use online meetings, but not just due to the pandemic, but also because we live in different parts of Greece. So we had several meetings for 6 months on Zoom, together with people from the ministry and the Mediterranean Center of Interpretation. The two guides also visited the path themselves before the walk because they wanted to see the exact way they would follow, but also the phenomena. What were they going to be? The heritage features they were going to talk about. Also, they took many interviews, read aloud. They had many discussions with local people so that they could incorporate local knowledge and the meaning this path and this heritage had for the local people into their talks. I should say that this project is really like a moment in time. The effort of introducing heritage interpretation in Greece is really something that has been going on for many years now. And therefore, we have a lot of experience by now on how to do it. We have had several courses in different parts of Greece, and we are able to have a vision, but also to share this vision with people like the people of the ministry, or NGOs, different NGOs throughout Greece, and also the individual guides. So it's not like one person trying to change the world, but there are more of us who collaborate in harmony, I should say, and we share the vision about a sustainable tourism and heritage interpretation as the main tool towards that direction. Finally, why could we use heritage interpretation as the tool? I will read you the words that Maria from the ministry shared with me when I asked her this question. She said, "Through heritage interpretation, the visitor discovers the soul of the site, its intangible heritage, and the importance of its tangible cultural phenomena. But heritage interpretation can do more than that. It suggests the way, the reason, and the deeper need for which this heritage is turned into an experience. Finally, heritage interpretation offers visitor a path towards a meaning for the present as well as for the future." Here is Penelope on the last few minutes of her interpretive walk. We have a recorded version of the same question to Penelope. Please let me know if we can't hear the voice, so I will go back and share, because I'm not sure I have shared sound with screen, okay? So let's see if you can hear or not. Can you hear?
No.
No, okay.
Not at the moment.
No, okay. I will sorry, I will do the same thing, but share screen with sound. Sorry about that. And we will go back.
Hello, my name is Penelope. I'm now...
Oops. This is again mistake. Sorry. Sorry, Penelope, for this.
Hello, my name is Penelope. I'm now talking to you from the island of Amorgos. I wanted to answer about why interpretive guiding is so important in tourism from personal experience. In the last 15 years that I'm working with groups, I can observe a saturation in tourism, and that touristic products as gastronomical or landscapes are being consumed, and there is a kind of consumption of landscapes also and of people. So I think interpretive guiding is a way of connecting more people with the destination and to make more interesting discussions, to create things, and even with this discussion and this connection, to create new possibilities of action that could be from inspiration to environmental actions, or not only. It could be like creating new associations that we have never thought about them because we have never discussed it with other people, problems or subjects that we are interested in, the landscape or what we saw or what we ate or what we taste provoked us. So that we saw it with also the program we did in Dimitsana. We saw that many people were interested in that and they never have met before. So it was a program that helped people to see their own place through a different perspective, and that helps to make them think what else they can do, not only in tourism, but also for their region.
Penelope also, in her speech here, also refers to the local people, because as I said, during our walks, a lot of local people were present, and it was like hearing another perspective about the features and about the intangible heritage of their own region, which was very familiar to them, right? They already knew these things, but they saw it through the eyes of someone else. And they discovered another meaning for this heritage. And let's hear what Sophia has to say, again, for the same question.
On a daily basis, we have a list with tasks we want or that we have to deal with. Even in our vacation, we have to move quickly in order to achieve all that we have in our wish list. But is this enough? What will we remember after our visit is over? Could it be that there is a direct relation between the time we invest on an experience and how long the memory of this experience will last? Interpretive guiding helps create memories that last for a long time. You can close your eyes and recall a smell, a story, a taste, or even an image. As an interpretive guide, you can help visitors create a special connection, a friendship with a sight, and a wish, or even a need to make this connection last.
Finally, the final word comes not for us who worked in this project, but from one of the people who participate in the walks. Actually, he was the oldest one. He was an old resident of Zahori, of Kipi village. And he said in his own way why heritage should be cherished and should be preserved for the next generation. Because he said, when a bridge is not walked, it's in its nature to fall. And this is what we don't want to happen, do we? Thank you. I'm here if you want to ask any questions. I will also check the chat box now. Michael, if you have seen any questions that are present.
I don't think there are comments like wonderful from Veronica or Veronica. No
I see
specific.
Vida asks whether the web page has a version in English.
Oh,
no.
sorry.
Yes. Not yet, I should say. This project was focusing on the Greek interpretive guides and also the Greek tourism sector. However, since the beginning, and because we are all involved one way or another with Interpret Europe, we always had the back of our head sometime in the future, perhaps to make a map of Europe with all the interpretive walks that are there, and maybe do something together with neighboring countries, for example. So not yet is the correct answer, Vida.
Do you have any walks that cross mountains or valleys into other countries?
Actually, I would love to do that one day. I would refer once again, people who know me knows that this is one of my favorite places in Greece / North Macedonia / Albania. It's the region of the Prespa Lakes. And actually it's in transnational, transboundary park. And we would love to make such walks there. Because, you know, if you look on the other side of the border, you see so many common things, so many things that we share with our neighbors. And it would be so wonderful to share our stories. Jana this morning talked about how stories are shared within different nations and different countries. Well, you can imagine this is also the issue here with our neighbors. And we have so many common things that perhaps we haven't discovered yet. So I would love to do that one day, to make such interpretive walks.
You've almost answered my question, because when we were the very first Interpret Europe meeting, Marieta Svetel and I were on a visit up the hills, up from Ljubljana, and I was talking to people and I was asking what their links were with people down in the valleys and the plains. So, no, we don't have any. Our links are with the people in Austria over the other side of the mountain. And it's like people who straddle a border. They're very often border people first, and then they belong to whichever country as well. Yeah. So what you're saying is very interesting, that there is a there's a shared culture.
Of course.
Because of the terrain, because the challenges.
Because of the terrain, but also because of history. It's really so recent that we were all part of the same empire, okay? And just because someone drew a line on a certain place doesn't mean that there are many families that were divided because of this line. So it's so much more than a common culture and common stories. It's even families.
Yes. You have got one or two more questions. Miguel Brito is asking, did interpretation go on? Is it people from the villages cooperating? Sandy's got a question. You can see them yourselves. There are 3 questions there from Miguel, from Peter, and Sandy and Peter. Can I leave you to? We've still got a few minutes of your time left, so there's plenty of time.
Okay. First to Miguel. Yes, there will be a part 2 of this project. As I said, one part of the future life of this project is that we will encourage interpretive guides from other places in Greece to share their walks, so we can fill in the map. But also the people who joined the walks, most of them have expressed the will to attend one of our courses. So probably interpretive guide course. We are also planning to do an interpretive planners course in Kipi, in a village near Kipi. So, and it will be an international one. So if anyone is interested, next spring, we will do that over there on mountainous Greece. So yes, we will keep up with these people. Sandy, has this experience encouraged other local people to get interpretive guiding training? Yes, we are still on this initial first cluster of people, and hopefully this will get around like a lake effect. And Peter, do people ask for more information, interpretation after the visit? And how can you provide this? Well, one way is the training, and the other way is that, as I said from the very beginning, we were very lucky to have the support of the Ministry of Culture, and together with them we are discussing now these weeks, we are discussing how to proceed with this project. There are many ideas, and there are many clusters in Greece that could provide like a network or something based on intangible heritage first, because this is the focus of this directorate of the ministry that we were collaborating with. But who knows, we start with little seeds and we see how they will grow.
Thank you. But you in your presentation used this lovely word about interpretation. It gets at the soul of a community.
Yeah.
That's a lovely word. It's not one I think we've heard. We've heard lots of other words, but that is ethos and all the rest of it. But the soul of a community, I will remember that. Thank you. Are
But
there
I
any-
have a final word. I think
Please.
it's a coincidence, but it's a very happy coincidence, the names of the two guides that worked in this project, because Sophia, maybe you know, it's a Greek word for wisdom. And Penelope, perhaps you know from Ulysses' story, is the wife of Ulysses, who was always so patiently and in a very intelligent way waiting for her husband to come back. So with patience and wisdom, we really hope that this project will provide some very good examples, results in the future.
That's very interesting. All you need is my friend Nikki, which means victory,
Exactly.
to come and work with come and work with